guys, so we have some news here for, I guess, this week's update for Legends, and it looks like Super Saiyan God Vegeta from the Broly movie is getting a ZENKAI Awakening. It says here, his main gradually restores his health each timer count. Unlock his, all of his uniques to get buff damage inflicted, card draw speed, key recovery, and more. Power up his combos and strike abilities on every front. So obviously he's a very strike-based unit. I don't really know how much I care about him gradually restoring health each timer count. It hasn't really ever been super impactful. It's nice to have as like a cherry on top, but it's not like something that you should be advertising, I guess. But card draw speed, huh? I can think of one unit in the game that would really benefit a lot from card draw speed. I don't think it's going to be a way to give allies card draw speed. That would be crazy if it was like Future Gohan. When he dies, he gives allies card draw speed. So he's going to be assumingly getting card draw speed from his uniques, and as well as, you know, extra damage inflicted, which is to be expected, and then key recovery. Okay, it's pretty basic information that we have here, but at least we know that we're getting another ZENKAI this week, which is Super Saiyan God Vegeta. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he's actually doing before he gets a ZENKAI Awakening. This guy is fairly old at this point, and I think this is actually a pretty good ZENKAI to get now because of two things. Number one, he was on that ticket banner for the Broly and Gogeta banners, so I assume a lot of people pulled multiple copies of this guy at this point. And then number two, he's a yellow ZENKAI who we don't have much of in this game right now. Like, we can go take a look at like the actual yellow ZENKAIs we have. I think yellow is the most underrepresented color in terms of the characters that we have available for getting ZENKAIs in this game. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 of them are free. So we have 3 paid ZENKAIs for yellow, which is, I think, is the least amount for any color. So it's good that they're revisiting yellow for ZENKAIs here. And let's go and see. So 40% of strike damage inflicted, -1 on strike costs. Okay, he doesn't actually do anything else. Honestly, this unique back in the day was pretty damn good. It depends what they want to do with this. I mean, this might just go up to like 60 counts or something crazy, and then like this might go up to 60 counts, and that might be it. Maybe he gets like, maybe he heals a little bit. Maybe he gets like some kind of. What if it was this? 50% strike damage inflicted for 50 timer counts. -5 to own strike arts cost for 50 timer counts, restores 20% of own health, and increases key recovery by 30% for 50 timer counts. That would be like a decent main ability. It would just mean it's like a very long one that you want to just pop as soon as you can get it, right? It's also, it only takes 5 counts to get this main ability, which is very short. So that's something to note as well. Unique abilities: when this character enters the battlefield, 50% strike damage inflicted for 20 counts, even if own health ratio is higher than enemy. So if he has a higher health percentage than the enemy you're fighting, he's going to be doing 50% more strike damage. They should just remove that. They should honestly just remove this and maybe make this 60% or something. That would be good. Just literally have this be 60% strike damage for... Actually, you know what they might do? Maybe not just strike damage. Maybe they just keep this at 50%, but then they make it 50% to damage inflicted for 20 counts. That's literally it. All I have to do is that. And this is a decently better unique ability. Cross Arm Guard. So reduces damage received by 40% until combo ends when changing cover. Then he does like the knockback thing. Apply Strike and Blast Arts Armor when changing cover, and if enemy is at close range, they will be knocked back to long range. I don't think they have any reason to change this. This is not like, at least to my knowledge, this is not like a special cover change that you can nullify with Gogeta. I'm actually not sure if that's the case yet, because nobody uses this character anymore. That's why he's getting a ZENKAI. I don't think this counts as a special cover change. I think this is like a separate thing to that. And then he also has this, which is whatever. And then you can combo it into blue cards. I don't think they're going to change that. Maybe they change this to 50%, and that's it. So this guy's going to have to get a lot of stuff for his 2 unique abilities. We know he gets card draw speed, which is really, really big, and we know he gets more damage and key recovery, which is honestly pretty much all he needs. This in itself is already pretty good, and then this just being like his main damage unique, I think, is fair. And then for the special move, major impact, yeah, this is what it's going to get buffed somehow. Reduces next damage sustained by 10%, 20% strike damage inflicted. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could just make this a team-wide buff now. That's pretty good at that point. Yeah, I mean, this guy's going to be solid. Obviously, we take a look at God Key. By the way, this guy's going to be buffing God Key, I think, for his ZENKAI ability, because he buffs God Key with his Z ability here. So, yellow God Key. Obviously, blue Gogeta is the main unit you're buffing with God Key at this point. And Champa, too. Champa is good. Champa versus Gogeta Blue. I think I do like Gogeta Blue better than Champa. Champa is very good though. This guy is still okay. He's a little bit outdated, but you know, if you get him a Zenkai buff, maybe he's relevant again. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you have this Beerus down here who's eventually going to get a Zenkai because he is tied to one of those from the original story, like modes or whatever, those sorts of events. So he's eventually going to get a Zenkai, and when he does, he'll be able to get buffed by this Vegeta. But there really isn't that much yellow God Key representation in the game right now, and that's why I really wanted this Gogeta Blue to be yellow, because, you know, there's not really much in the game total representation of yellow, just period. It was the weakest color in the game. I still think it probably is the weakest color in the game. Finally getting a Zenkai buff for Gogeta Blue, because he didn't have a single one prior to this, so I'm going to be definitely testing this out. And then also on the movies team, and just in case they decide to make him buff movies with his yellow Zenkai ability, which I don't think they will. I think it's going to remain God Key. We have Turles, who's going to be getting that. We have this yellow Gohan, who's going to be getting that. This guy and this Bojack. And honestly, this Broly's pretty good, so him getting that buff too is not something to forget about either. But obviously the movies team has a lot more yellow characters that are useful than the God Key tag, but the God Key tag is going to become crazy, because we're not going to stop getting God Key units, right? Look how many like crazy units there are in this tag already. And it's not going to stop, because we have Master Ultra Instinct, we have, you know, the transforming versions of all these characters, we have fusing characters, like it's going to be crazy. So God Key is still to this day probably the tag with the most potential, besides maybe just pure Saiyan, or just the Saiyan tag, right? But that's movies, that's God Key. The last thing I sort of quickly want to touch on is this. This is something they showed off back in Jump Festa. It was Toshi versus Yu. I think it was just a demonstration of the game they showed off at Jump Festa 2020. About a month ago, maybe a little bit less than a month ago, I think at this point. But notice his team, right? His team is Yellow God Vegeta, Zenkai, now confirmed. We have the Blue Trunks, who sucks, and we have LF Piccolo. This team has no synergy at all, other than the fact that it's a yellow-blue team. A lot of people have been saying, oh, like, what if these all get Zenkai Awakenings? And now that we have confirmation that this guy is getting a Zenkai Awakening, I think it's actually fair to say that, you know, that's a pretty good prediction now. Which means that the next LF unit getting a Zenkai would be Piccolo. Which, honestly, I'm fine with that. If they want to go down the path of Zenkaiing Piccolo, I'm actually completely okay with that, because of the fact that it's either going to be Super Vegito, Goten, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or Piccolo. Because I don't think they would go ahead and give it to LF Frieza yet. I don't think he needs one at all, compared to the other units that I just talked about. But I think I'm okay with Piccolo getting one here, because, you know, he's not a Saiyan, he's not a Sun Family unit, he's not a Fusion. All those tags are relatively decent at this point, you know, been recently buffed. Regen, you know, is annoying to fight against, but honestly, I'm fine with this. Piccolo has sort of been, like, shafted very hard in this game. He was brought back once prior to these banners that are up right now, and the banner he was brought back on was the ones that introduced Demon King Piccolo Zenkai, who completely fodderized Piccolo. So if they want to go ahead and, you know, give him the Zenkai next, I'm completely fine with that. But, you know, this is all just speculation at this point. This Blue Trunks definitely needs one as well. He's sucked since he came out. Just straight up. Yeah, again, we don't know for sure, but it looks promising now that this is the reason why they showed off these characters here, because they're all going to get Zenkais at some point soon here. So that is pretty much all we have here. Let me know what you think down below of the Super Saiyan God Vegeta Zenkai Awakening. I will be doing a breakdown tomorrow. We'll be doing my showcase tomorrow, 14 star, 100%, blah, 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 blah. So stay tuned for all that stuff. And with that said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.